Principle 1. Provide opportunities for the incidental learning of vocabulary. Most words in first and second language are probably learned incidentally through extensive reading and listening. For native speakers, learning vocabulary from context is gradual because in a single exposure to an unknown word, there's only 10% chance of learning its meaning by context. Incidental learning of vocabulary through extensive reading benefits language curricula and learners at all levels. Low proficiency learners can benefit from graded readers because they will be repeatedly exposed to high frequency vocabulary. Students do not usually do extensive reading for pleasure, so the teacher has to give some time to it. Once they develop the ability, most of the reading should be done outside the classroom. Principle 2. Diagnose which of the 3,000 most common words learners need to study. Knowing approximately 3,000 high-frequency and general academic words is significant because this amount covers a high percentage of the words in an average page. For second language learners entering university, knowing at least 3,000 words was required for effective reading, whereas 5,000 words indicate academic success. Principle 3. Provide opportunities for the intentional learning of vocabulary. Intentional learning contributes significantly to vocabulary development. Explicit instruction is essential for beginning students whose lack of vocabulary limits their reading ability. Translation has a necessary role in L2 learning, but it can affect learners' progress if it is used to the exclusion of L2-based techniques. Weak and advanced learners should recall new words from the L2 translations than use in L2 context. However, weaker learners are less able to transfer knowledge learned from translation into L2 context. Vocabulary lists can be an effective way of quickly learn word translation, but it is more effective to use vocabulary cards because learners can control the order in which they study words. When teaching unfamiliar vocabulary, teachers need to consider 1. Learners need to do more than just see the form. Also need to hear pronunciation and practice the word talking aloud. 2. Start by learning semantically unrelated words. Avoid learning words with similar forms and meanings. It can lead to confusion. 3. It is more effective to study words regularly over several short sessions than to study them for 1 or 2 longer sessions. Four, study 5 or 7 words at a time, dividing larger numbers of words into smaller groups. That is to say, we can say that we have a group of words that is named family members, and there we can find father, mother, son, daughter, uncle. 5. Use activities such as the keyword technique to promote deeper mental processing and better retention. Finally, 6. A variety of L2 information can be added to cards for further elaboration. Principle 4. Provide opportunities for elaborating word knowledge. Simply knowing translation doesn't guarantee that it will be successfully accessed for use in IL2 context, because it means knowing more than just its translated meaning or its L2 synonyms. Various aspects of word knowledge, knowing related grammatical patterns, affixes, common lexical sets, typical associations, how to use the word receptively and productively. Being able to recognize aspects of knowledge through reading, listening, speaking, and writing. Teachers should be selective when deciding which words deserve deeper reception and/or production practice. Elaboration involves expanding the connections between what learners already know and the new information. Choose L2 words from the surrounding context and explain their connections to recently learned words. Create opportunities to meet these useful recently learned words in new contexts that provide new collocations and associations. Provide opportunities for developing fluency with known vocabulary. They recycle noun words in familiar grammatical and organizational patterns so that students can focus on recognizing or using words without hesitation. Fluency partly depends on developing sight vocabulary through extensive reading and studying high-frequency vocabulary. Principle 6. Experiment with guessing from context. It is complex and often difficult strategy to carry out successfully. To do it, learners need to know about 19 out of 20 words of a text. However, even if the context is very constrained, there is little chance of guessing the correct meaning, because guessing from context fails to direct attention to word form and meaning. Relatively little learning occurs, but it can still contribute to vocabulary learning depending on the proficiency level of the students. Students can examine different types of dictionaries and teach students how to use them. Bilingual dictionaries result in vocabulary learning. Elicitation is an important technique for various reasons. It helps develop a learner-centered dynamic. It makes learning memorable as learners can link new and old information, and it can help produce a dynamic and stimulating environment. A teacher elicits the rules for the structure of the first conditional by asking learners to look at some examples. Then, writing we make the first conditional in English with on the board, so that students can contribute with the structure of the grammar form. You need this skill when you don't understand a word or phrase in the written text. It allows you to accurately guess the meaning of the word based on the clues given to you from other parts of the text, such as the lead, the title, the other paragraphs, and the words around the mystery word. It is important because you will always get words you don't understand in the test, and you won't get frustrated and will know How to deal with new words when you see them in the test. The teacher gives an unknown word to the class and then provides a specific situation in which the unknown word is used.